Hello traders, welcome to my channel. So today I'm gonna bring you a little quick video because I released earlier this week a video on what the best places are for me that I look for to anchor my fixed range volume profiles, and a question came up asking about the settings that I use. This is in TradingView specifically that we're talking about, because I also use Sierra Charts, which is a much more, I would say advanced, if you will, and complete platform, just like NinjaTrader, etc. TradingView has done some great updates recently to their volume profile tools, but it's a little bit limited compared to some platforms. But now, I mean, you can pretty much do almost all kind of analysis that you need with it. So let's just quickly talk about the settings that I use. And again, we're only going to focus on fixed range profile in this video, and in the video that I'm going to link down below, the first part of this series about the fixed range. But I want to make sure you guys use this indicator right here, or this drawing tool, the fixed range volume profile right here from the left hand menu. Because if we go to indicators, technicals, volume profile, you'll notice there's a fixed range volume profile here. This used to be the only option available on TradingView, and the problem with this one, as you're going to see, is if you select this one, and now you can see this comes up basically saying it is activated. I close this, and let's say I put a profile from here to here. I get the profile here, but then if I go and change into a different market, let's say if I go into Forex, this is a E-mini futures chart, ES. If I go to like Euro USD, now I get a profile on the same place. If I go into crypto, into Bitcoin, now I get a profile on the same place. So as you can see, if you go through indicators, technicals, volume profile, what you're going to get is an indicator that is permanently set in the same spot. And if you see the first video, the whole point of the fixed range volume profile is that we want to use very specific, significant swing points for whatever market we are analyzing. So that is why I always recommend everyone just use this one right here. You can put a little star into it, and then if you go down here to this star symbol, if you activate it, then you get your little toolbar here with all the little shortcuts and things for all the your most used drawings. Okay, so then if I just go and click my profile, and let's anchor it as I talked about the last time, we'll anchor it around right here. And the reason why I chose this, just like I talked about in the last video, it's because I want to look for the last significant leg that we're coming through as confluence. And in this case, we had this swing low here, so this went right into this consolidation. So then I want to anchor it to capture the last volumes we made before we came back into this area again. But like I said, if you push this forward or back a little bit, you're still going to have some pretty similar levels. But I like to catch the areas with the last significant confluence like we have here. Okay, so this is pretty much the default setting I have. Let me just expand it. I don't know if it looks very clear there, but if I double click it, this is the settings that come up. So I'll just go page by page. I'll actually start from the right side. So visibility, This you can set it up to whatever you want. Usually when I use a long-term profile, like this is a daily chart, I will only leave it activated on days and weeks. The reason I don't do, for example, hours is because if I go into the 1 hour chart, now I get this thing, which is sort of annoying. If I go in here, you can see you get this line here basically saying that there's a profile, but it's too wide to show it on the screen. So you're gonna have to scrunch your whole chart and go all the way back until where the profile starts. And now it's gonna come up on this time frame. So as you can see, if you have a long-term profile and you go down into a lower time frame, it's gonna be sort of annoying to be going back and forth. So what I like to do is, if I have a profile that's too large to really like be seen on like an hourly chart, for example, then I'll just go to visibility and I just mark it so it comes up on days and weeks. Now if I go down into the 1 hour, you can see that now I don't get any kind of markings. And then over here, you know, I can go and just look for a more shorter term profile. So I can just go into like even like a 4 hour. And then I can just go here and say, okay, well, I'll take from this last significant swing lows, which are really much in confluence with where we are now. And now I just got a much shorter term profile, which you can see this one is from 24 February, etc. And you can even go into an hourly chart, and you could even just do a profile from the last leg down, and now we're coming back up. So again, you have the confluence of the last move down, and now we're moving up. So now we're looking for the edges, especially the top edges of the high volume nodes, etc. Okay, but then let's go back to the daily and just go quickly again over the rest of the settings. So visibility, again, just whatever time frames you want it to appear. Coordinates, this is basically just what places the dots are going to be, the starting and the ending point. Style. In style here, if I take this on and off, it's just going to make it disappear. Values, I don't really use this. I don't think anything really comes up here. Percentage width of box, this is going to determine how wide out it is. If I put it at 20, you can see it's going to be a lot smaller. So just depending how much you want. Normally I have it around like 40 to 50% usually. I don't want it to come all the way to the end here, because if I put it at like 100, you know, this is like very distracting to have this whole thing across my entire chart. So usually 40, it's like a setting I like. Placement. Now here with placement, I always have it on the left. The only volume profile that I put on the right side, it's the visible range indicator. Basically, the visible range volume profile is the only one that I like to put on the right side. But the session, the periodic, and the fixed range, I always put it on the left. If you put it on the right, unfortunately, this is something TradingView still hasn't enabled. On other programs, for example, like Sierra Charts, they have an option that's called far right. So basically this would be attached here to the right edge of the chart. So you're not going to have the whole profile like overlapping over all your candles. So, you know, TradingView still doesn't have this option available. So that's why I always like to choose to just have it on the left side. Now up and down volume and value area up and down. So again, my value area, just quickly, let's go to inputs. I have it set at 68%. So what that means is basically this area, the area that I have shaded in a darker shade of gray here, this is the 68% of all the transacted volumes from here down to here, to the end of the profile. So 68% of the traded volume will be here, and the other 32 would be in this outside areas, which is the up and down volume. So this is very personal, however you want to set this. If you want to give this different colors, etc., it's up to you. I'm used to using I like to use gray tones for this, so that's how I always have it. Now, value area, high low, point of control, these things basically are just gonna put in these lines coming out. For my session volume profiles, I always have this marked. For me, that is very important when I do my day trading, to have the value area high, low, and point of control lines, and the naked point of control lines too, in my intraday sessions when I use Sierra chart. But when I just use more longer term fixed range profiles, I don't really put this on, because it's pretty evident. You can see right here is the value area high, low, and the point of control obviously is going to be the point that sticks out the most. But as we know, each individual high volume node, it's going to have its own minor points of controls, at all these areas. So I like to keep it pretty minimal, because for me, the most important thing is just being able to identify high volume nodes and areas with cuts in volumes. Okay, so that's that. Developing point of control and value area, I never use this, but basically what this shows you is you started this profile here, and then as you can see, as price gets more volatile and starts moving, this is where the point of control was moving along with price and the value area high, low, etc. But again, this is something I don't use. And then the histogram box, I'd never really use this, but this is if you want to add like a background to your profile. This is useful. You can change the colors, etc. So this is an easy way that you can just identify where your profile starts and where it ends. Obviously, if you have this on the left, you can easily see where it starts, but this might help you see where it ends if you don't have it, especially all the way to the end. But again, this is something I don't really use, so I always have it at 0. And then finally, the input section right over here, row layouts, I always just leave it at number of rows. This is sort of the standard setting. Row size, this is probably the biggest setting that you're gonna be playing around with. Volume, I always leave it as total volume. Value area 68%. Extend right, this is a new option that they just integrated, and basically if I go and let's just mark the histogram just so you can see what I'm talking about here. If we go over here with this option, if you don't have it checked and I put this profile, I can just set it to stop wherever I want, and so I got the profile and it's just gonna go and stop right here. But with this new setting, which is something that I was waiting for them to apply a long time ago, if you mark this off, the profile is gonna automatically be updating and going forward as price makes new candles on whatever time frame you're in. The profile is going to keep moving and taking into account all those new volumes, and is going to change dynamically and keep adapting, etc. So this is what I always like to use. So let's go take off the histogram again. And then the last setting that I talked about is the row size. So here, what you want to play around with, you want a row size that is high enough that you can see the detail in the high volume nodes and low volume nodes. If I put this very low, you can see how this gets really chunky. And now it's very hard to be very precise with the edges of the nodes if you have this so low. Such a low number of rows. So usually I have this around 300. It's probably around like the average that I like to have. And once you find a setting of a profile that you like, what I recommend is going here to template, just put save as, and I'm gonna put the name fixed range daily weekly, because this is the settings that I like to use for my fixed range volume profile for the higher time frames, because like I showed you, I only have it so it shows on the days and the weeks. So I put save. It asked me to overwrite the last one because I had one with the same name. I put yes. And now, if I just go to if I go to like any other chart, let's say if I go to, if I go to the Bitcoin chart here, and I apply my long-term profile, then I can just take it, mark it, and I can just right click templates, and then I can just select fixed range daily weekly, and it's going to save all the settings that I had made. So it has my row size that I like, value area, extended right, 40% width, my colors for my value area and my rest of the profile. And then the visibility, again, I have two templates in general. I have one for days and weeks, and then I have another one with the visibility only for minutes and hours that I like to call fixed range minute hour. And that's pretty much it. So again, that's my settings for the fixed range. And all I look for, especially like I said, the main thing with the row sizes is, you can even go a little higher if you want even more detail, like 350. Basically, all we're looking for is a profile that you can clearly see the edges of the high volume nodes. Because as we know, basically these edges are going to be where we're going to look for entries, because these edges or the low volume node areas are always going to be the areas of important support and resistance levels, like I go over on all my other volume profile videos that you can check out. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the video. Thanks for watching. Again, make sure to subscribe, thumbs up, etc. Share the videos. And this is just an overview of the settings that I use in TradingView for my fixed range volume profile drawing tool. And hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Check out my website for more info on all my trading content and courses, and have a great week.